Hey, what is going on, guys? This is car number 5, and today I have another gameplay video for you guys. We are facing another World Series player. I forgot his PSN. It was Colin something. He was a pretty good player, and this was a pretty good game. I was pitching Chris Sale, and I was facing Vida Blue. It was funny because the matchup prior to this, it was just the opposite. So now I get to pitch at Chris Sale. He's amped up today, 99 overall. So I was real excited to see how good he was today. Went ahead and played at Coors Stadium, seeing if the ball could travel a little bit farther because of this, slight power nerf, or whatever you want to call it. You can see my opponent is a World Series opponent. I really don't know much about him, so I expect it to be a good game. I started out the game and the strike zone came for pitching, but again, for lefties, I don't like pitching with this view. I don't know what it is. I prefer it more with righties. I think it's because I have an easier time flicking my stick up into the right rather than up into the left. So I struggle getting the pitch in on the hands of righties. So you guys can see here, starting off the game, missed my spot a little bit there. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I like strike zone, sometimes I like pitcher offset. And then 3-1 count, I went ahead and just threw a fastball in there. Missed my spot there. I wasn't really sure where his bat speed was, so I went ahead and threw a changeup, but I threw it pretty much low down, which you don't want to throw to anybody, especially somebody with, of a slower bat. And I started to figure out that my opponent had somewhat of a slower bat. And we went ahead and decided to switch to the pitcher offset. Got a strikeout there with Corey Seager. Both of us had pretty good lineups. I have a new addition to my lineup, Paul Molitor. So excited to try that card out. I'm also trying to get the Gagne as my opponent takes me deep. At first I thought this was a just late BS hit, but I threw it right down the middle. I can't complain at all about that. He had good timing. I'm trying to get Gagne, Trout. I also got Rodney on my team. He didn't make an appearance this game. Last game, Rodney's debut, he did terrible, so I don't really know if I like that card. I didn't really like it that much last year, but I wanted to give it a try. As we pop out our opponent and we go ahead and go to the first inning, now we're pitching Vida, or facing Vida. And there's Molitor. Even though against lefties he doesn't have a lot of power, he hits the gap there. I really like this card at second base. I think he's probably like 99 if you put him at second. He only has, again, 51 power versus lefties, but he has good vision. He has that compact swing. He kind of reminds me of a right-handed Corey Seager. With inverse splits, reverse splits, whatever you guys want to call it. And our created player, we hit it pretty hard, but we ground out to third. You can see we're off centered a little bit there, and we still third with Molitor. That's another good thing about him. He has good speed and stealing, so he's actually faster than Kinsler, and he has better stealing, I believe. First and third situation, we draw a walk with Cal, and we have Ed Matthews up. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not doing the greatest with Ed Matthews. I don't know if I've done a gameplay since I've got Matthews either, to be honest, but terrible situational hitting. I should have looked to drive it, stay back a little bit, and drive it to kind of, left center or up the middle more. But we do draw a walk with Dawson on a nasty curveball down and in, laid off of it, and bases are loaded for Posada. And I jammed myself there. I should have been a little bit more aggressive, but I don't know. I've been a lot more patient recently, and it's been paying off. I think I went my real record in event. Been playing a lot of events, by the way. I got 3 no-1 Ryans and sold them all. At one point, I had over 1 million stubs. So if you guys ask, I get a lot of my stubs from events. My cap is actually in center field this game, so that's something else I did. I put Griffey in left and Dawson in right because I had to open up room at second base for Molitor. And I put our cap in center field, and he made a great play there. We go ahead and get out of the inning, kind of jam him there. But yeah, so this game was actually a pretty good game, and I think it kind of showcases some of my beefs with the hitting. But regardless, this was a really good game, but I think it'll show a lot of inconsistencies as well. As we kind of get a weak fly out, we were just a tad under that, whatever. I should have centered that up more. I can't complain. We get kind of a lazy liner in the left center for David Wright. I think I was kind of jammed on that. I'm not sure. David Wright, I hit really well with David Wright. It's going to be hard for me to take him out of my lineup. I tried to bunt Wright over, and I put him in the 8th spot because he has good speed for a third baseman and good stealing because I want to bunt those runs over. But unfortunately, I still got thrown out there, and that brings it back to my leadoff guy, which was Molitor. And he's just going to hit a weak ground out to third base. So that's going to take us into the top of the third. We're still down 2-0. Both of the home runs were my fault. I can't really complain. Opponent did have some just late hits. I had a few too. I think he had a few more than me. I noticed he was kind of struggling turning on fastballs in general, so I started to challenge him more as the game went on. And I think he turned on a fastball right here. Yeah, he had a pretty good two-seamer and on the hands. Even though he hit that up the middle, I still noticed he was having a hard time pulling those, which is fine. It's probably a good approach to have in this game right now. Anyways, next batter, I totally missed my spot here, by the way. That was Cal Ripken to a full count, and we go ahead and get out of the inning. So still 2-0. Again, the thing that's killing me lately is I'm straining way too many runners, and it's just situational hitting. It's not clutch hits I have to come up with. It's just the fact that I'm not getting sac flies or putting the ball in play. Here we get way under this ball, and actually had a 100-mile-an-hour exit velo, and it carried out. Maybe the core's elevation helped a little bit, but you also have to keep in mind the left field's a lot deeper, so maybe that would have went out at a normal ballpark. I'm not sure, but we'll take it 2-1. And we fly out to right field here. And this is where I start to show you guys some examples of what I'm talking about. So yeah, you could argue I could have squared that up better. Definitely, you guys can see here. I mean, the ball is pretty much in the yellow buckshot. I know I could have squared that up more, but I don't know. It just seems a little inconsistent to me, and I have some more to show you guys. Here's another one with Ed Matthews. Again, I was under it just a tad, and if that's how the hitting wants to be, that's fine. It's just really hard to get like a good launch angle if you try to swing under it a little bit. It just turns into a lazy fly ball, so I'm not really sure how to consistently hit for power. Here's another one, again with Ed Matthews. I was under it just a little bit, and you could definitely argue that I could square that up better. That's fine. I really don't have too much of a problem with these last two. I really don't. It's just the fact that, like the one I hit my creative player, I was completely under the ball. And honestly, I had 100 exit velo. I don't think that should have happened. I think I should have hit this one a little bit better, considering that Matthews has, 98 power or something. But it's whatever. I understand. I could definitely square that up more. That's on me. I'm definitely not against a challenging game, as long as it's consistent and fair across the boards, which I don't really think this game achieves at all times. I really think there's some unbalancing issues. Anyways, my opponent comes up with Freddy Freeman, rips one in the gap. We hold him to a single though. So good hit by my opponent. And like I said again, he's a good player. 0-2 count on Arenado, completely hit our spot. Good location, pretty much all in the strike zone. It's called a ball. The umpire was really tight in general, and then here I pick him off. He just sits there. I try to get in a rundown, and yeah, I run him all the way back, make a throw. He decides to kind of just flip it. I don't know why, and he's safe. So whatever. I really think that needs to be fixed. I think rundowns are just a little crazy sometimes, especially with the animations. You don't know which animation you're going to get half the time. It's actually kind of hard to get good rundown animations. It can be kind of tricky to get people out of those. So I don't know. Sometimes you can kind of cheese your way and run out of those. I don't know. It's whatever. But we go ahead and he hits a soft roller of Griffey. Should have been out of the inning right here, honestly. Should have struck out, and he should have got caught stealing, but whatever. Another missed call. Whatever. 2-2 count. This is a Chris Bryant foul tip. We strike him out. So we pitched around that mess. Kind of frustrating, but I just kind of had to pause it and take a breather. And then Posada comes up. He made a pretty good pitch. I hit it just well enough to find a hole in the infield. Got a little lucky with that hit for sure. Then Griffey comes up 2-1 count. He throws me a fastball middle in. And I thought I hit this pretty well. I guess not. We'll show you guys the feedback. I'll let you guys be the judge. But this is 99. This is your cover boy. This is Griffey. This is SDS's cover boy. And the whole ball is in the yellow buckshot, or whatever you want to call it. And that's at 92 miles an hour. So I kind of have a problem with that. I think that's like the perfect launch angle if you're trying to generate home runs. And for somebody that has like 97 power versus lefties or whatever it is, for that ball to go nowhere. And then this one's even worse. This is David Wright versus a lefty, who again is like maxed out versus lefties. I thought that was gone. So try to explain all the. I mean, this is just 2 innings. So look at that. I mean, the whole ball is in. Again, I'm just a tad under it, just a tad, and it's at 92 mile an hour with somebody with 99 contact, 97 power, whatever he has. All right, so I don't really understand. And I pulled it. It wasn't like, I hit it to center and it was almost a just late. That was good timing. So I don't really understand how that works. But then Chris Hill comes up and then he rips a double down the line. And this is where, this is just 1 inning. This is just 1 game. I'm showing tons of examples. We're not able to score since Posada is really slow, and that's the one thing I can't stand about Posada. But check out this pitch, or check out this hit by Chris Hill. Okay, I mean, I didn't center this one up either. It was pretty much down the middle. I was off center a little bit. But we hit that one harder than we hit the previous other examples that I've shown you with Griffey, Matthews, and Wright, where I'm just under the pitch a little bit, but I squared them up. I mean, I centered them up better. And those guys have 90 plus power. I don't think Chris Sale has any power. I think he's got 0 power. And that's off a lefty. So tell me how that was hit harder than the other ones. That makes no sense. I had early timing on it as well, and it somehow stayed fair. That's kind of another beef I have with the game. They treat all swing timing is the same. They just assume that all the timings are treated equally, which I really disagree with. If that's how they want to view it, I don't know. I don't think that's right. Here he gets kind of an infield hit. I will talk about more of that at the end of the video, and I know they addressed that in their stream. And I should probably do a video just talking about the stream, but I don't really want to talk about the stream too much in this video. I'll just say I'm glad they did a stream, and I'm glad they showed us what they did, and at least try to address the issue. But again, I might do a separate video for that. Anyways, we threw a fastball in on the hands, kind of jammed our opponent there, and induced a double play. So we're down 2-1 still, and we have. See, I don't know if this actually. If you guys maybe let me know how this works. This was my last hit I had with. I think it was Molitor. So I don't really know how that works. But I thought I hit that one well too, but I don't know if you guys even remember that. Anyways, we lead off this inning with our created player. He hits one down the line for a double. Now this is what a good swing should look like. When you center it up, it's in the buckshot. That generated 108 exit velo. That's what I want to see out of good swings. I mean, good swings should be hit harder than lates and just lates. I don't care where it's at. I don't even care if it's on the outside part of the strike zone. We draw a walk there, and I'll address some of this stuff later. And Ed Matthews comes up again. Again, I'm under everything with Ed Matthews, and some of it's my fault. Some of it, the game, they tuned down power. But again, I was way under that. Actually, let's look at the feedback on this one. Some of the ball is in the buckshot, but I really can't complain about that. I'm under it. I didn't really square that up at all. And then here we go with a pitch up and in. Dawson just rips it. I mean, you don't want to throw in the outer part of the strike zone against Dawson. I mean, he has such good oppo power. He drives in a run that ties it up 2-2. Posada comes up, and look at that. I choke again. I really did. I don't know. I got to get a little bit more aggressive in those situations and not try to swing under it so much. But that fly ball was not deep enough, so we have to stay at third. And then I thought this was going to be a double down the line, and of course it slices just foul. Very frustrating. But whatever. And then we get one middle in. I think I was a little under this. We're not going to be able to see the feedback. So strained some more runners again. And again, these are situations. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. I got to do a better job. So I mean, I could have scored a few more runs if I just had a little bit better situational hitting, but I didn't. So it's still 2-2. Opponent kind of goes down and gets this with Corey Seager. He actually hit really well lefty on lefty with Seager and Freeman. And next batter, Ripken. I got my cap and center. I mean, I love my cap and center, actually. I'm trying to get Trout, so I'm going to keep him out there until I get Trout. Makes a nice play. My opponent actually hit that one pretty well. So I'm sure we both got, kind of screwed on some hits, but it is what it is. And then here he goes to Freeman again. Now, I shouldn't have threw away. I was trying to mix it up, but I really should have just kept jamming him with fastballs and kept everything on the inner half. But this is a good piece of hitting by him. I can't complain about that. Really good piece of hitting. Like I said, this guy was a pretty good player. Arenado comes up. I don't even remember what happened. I think he got out, and then Griffey came up. It was a slider down and away. Got on the chase. Get out of the inning. Chris Sale is really not pitching too bad for me. Gave up 3 runs. We're down a run. He brings in Osuna, and we pinch hit Harper here. He throws a fastball, or pitch away. I'm not sure if that was a fastball. And thankfully we're playing at Coors, so that hit the gap. Yeah, I think the Coors effect really helped with that one. And I'll show you guys the feedback. This is what I'm talking about. So I squared that up perfectly. I think, well, here we go. So I have good timing, and I pretty much dotted that up. That's hit 94 miles an hour. It's in the strike zone. Bryce Harper, who's playing up today, I think, who has 99 power. So I squared that up perfectly, and you're telling me I have an exit velo of 94. Like, what? It's Chris Sale. The one Chris Sale hit, I think, had higher exit velo than this, or the same. And this guy I'm playing, and I'll show you guys later, I had a just late hit where I had higher exit velo. That should never be the case in this game, but it happens. on a routine basis. So I don't really see how SDS can say that it's not a problem. And actually, speaking of just late hits, Molitor comes up with a big single, and I feel like I was super late on this. He's just got that nice swing, that Corey Seager compact swing, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is a perfect example. I squared up the one with Harper, a few others from earlier, and look at that. I mean, I didn't square that up necessarily, but it was in the PCI, and we're just late on the inner half, and that one's hit harder than the one of Harper. So explain that one to me. How can you have good timing, squared up even more than this with a guy with 97 power, and it's hit softer than what this is, where you have just late? And I know just lates, they're not always a bad thing. If you leave a pitch over the middle of the plate, as my creative player gets another hit, if you leave a pitch over the middle of the plate or on the outer half, obviously just lates aren't a bad thing. That's the same thing for good yellows or just earlys on the inner half. I mean, most of the time they go foul, but it's not always a bad thing. And we have a runner on third. I tried to steal a base. I had some base running issues this inning, and I stranded another runner. But we did tie the game at least. And look at this play by Molitor. Ooh, so that's really what you're risking playing him at second. He's not terrible defensively. He has like 70-something fielding. If you play him at his secondary, it's 5% deduction. So he's not bad over there. He can get the job done. You don't really need like a great defender at second. But that's probably his one weakness, that and his power versus lefties. But overall, I mean, he's a really solid card. I definitely am looking forward to playing more games with him. Got my opponent to pop out there with Lou Brock. He pinch hits Curtis Granderson. Definitely a good sequence of pitches there. I got him to chase a slider down and in, as we got Jansen in right now, by the way. I walked this creative guy. I didn't want to mess with him. I was thinking about bringing in a lefty to face Seager, but I knew he would just counter. And I got him looking at a sinker down and in. So I love Jansen. That's why I think he's the best pitcher. I need to use him more. I'm trying to save him too often for save situations. Ed Matthews, we take a walk there. We have Andre Dawson up. Get it to a 2-1 count, and we're under it again. That's what I feel like this game is. Just there's so many weak flyouts, so many. I think they kind of went a little bit overboard on the power. So my biggest beef with the game is that the good timings are not hit as hard as the just lates. It's really simple as that. And here's some bad luck. We had a few lineouts in the game as well. That could have been a double play. I sit on his curveball. He brought in Joaquin Soria, and of course we lined out. But thankfully it wasn't a double play. I went ahead and took out Griffey. Yes, I took out Griffey. He hasn't Britton, so I went ahead and brought in Jason Worth. So I have all these corner outfielders, and so I might as well use them when I have the opportunity. And he rips one to center. We're right on that, and that's going to be another line out. So, I mean, I'm scoring up a lot of pitches this game, but unfortunately I only have 3 runs to show for it. We leave Jansen in, kind of get a weak grounder to second base, makes the play. So Jansen, yeah, I definitely need to use him more, and I think he's just amazing. My stats with him aren't that great. I need more innings with him. Here we kind of leave the cutter over the middle of the plate. Thankfully, I don't think he got the best PCI placement on this, or that would have been gone. Maybe he did. Maybe he got screwed. I don't know. I wish the game would just show us our opponent's PCI, but we got lucky on that one. And then he has Arenado coming up. I believe this is Arenado. And we just kind of quick pitch him there at the end of a sinker up and in and get out of the inning. So Jansen gave me 2 solid innings. I pinched hit Lou Brock here to 1 down in the bottom of the 8th. Sitting on that inside pitch, and then for some reason I I had a feeling he wasn't going to try to, test me middle and again. He's throwing me a fastball away. So what's he going to do here? I wasn't looking for that. So tied me up. We got 2 down in the 8th. Molitor comes up, and we draw a walk. So actually, I think he got on base like 3 times for me. He actually had a pretty good game for me. 2-0 count. He throws a curveball for a strike. This is my created guy now. I think my created guy has been on base like 3 times too. He rips a double down the line. Are we going to be able to score, Molitor? No, we're not. So we're going to have to hold up for a double here. And we have a huge at-bat coming up for Cal Ripken, who I've actually not been hitting that great with since I've got him. I do have 2 walks with him. I've been patient. And I'm sitting on a slurve right here, and bam, we go right up the middle. Good piece of hitting. I was sitting on that slurve, and that's a clutch hit. I really needed that because my situational hitting has been trash lately. So he picked, I don't know who he picked up. He picked up me, I guess. Whatever, I was controlling him. That don't make any sense. And then Matthews grounds out to shortstop. But we have a save situation. Go ahead and go with Chapman here. He's got Griffey. Decided to keep him in, and that slider kind of backed up on me. I got a lucky call. Really inconsistent umpires, so I'm lucky with that one. And he actually hit this one pretty well. He didn't pull it, but, you know, he was just late, kind of went up the middle. Still a good swing nonetheless, and thankfully had the shift on. So we're 2 down here. He took out Lou Brock, brought in a pinch hitter. I think this is Lorenzo Cain. Got a 1-2 count on him. Trying to put him away. Slider down and in. Can we get him? Nah, he gets some weird hit. I mean, almost hit his ankle. So he's going to keep this game alive, 2 down. I don't even know if you can call that a good piece of hitting. I think that was just luck. Sometimes I get those hits too. But I know I had to try to close this game out. So he brought in Victor Martinez, and I did not want to throw a lefty versus him, so I brought in Iglesias, and I do not know how this ground ball went through. That was hit so soft. But that's going to be 2 on, and he's got his creative player coming up, and I'm not looking forward to this. I decided to go ahead and leave Iglesias in. I don't want to pitch around him. He's got a couple pinch hitters left. He's got Corey Seager on deck too, so I just have to go after him. Would have been nice to get that call on the inner half. Again, these umpires are just terrible. 1-0 count. Slider down and in, and so Matthews makes a nice little play, makes a quick little backhand toss, and Iglesias is able to get to the bag. I'm really surprised we got the out, but that's going to go ahead and be game. So my opponent was 959. I got 12 points on that. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the game. I'm kind of talk a little bit more about the game. So the first thing I want to address is, again, I think everybody knows this pretty much in the community. If you don't agree with it, that's fine, whatever. The good swings have to be rewarded more. Like, this tuning down the power is fine, but, I mean, we have to be rewarded for good swings and squaring up hits or pitches, whatever. We have to be rewarded more, especially rewarded more than just lates and lates. I mean, what's the whole point, you know, of having good timing? And that kind of leads me to something else. So in the stream, I'm just going to cover this really quickly. I don't agree with their explanation of the timing. They acted like, you know, everyone's saying just lates and lates have a negative connotation to it. Well, that's because the way the MLB The Show games I've played in the past, you weren't rewarded as much. I mean, yes, you could still get hits with just lates, especially on the outer half, but for the most part on the inner half, you wouldn't get rewarded. Good swings were always the most rewarding. MLB 16, if you had good timing on something, I mean, it was crushed. I mean, the exit vehicles are probably a little too high in that game. So I guess my problem is if you have good timing, everything went right on that swing. They kept saying, you know, your hands get through the ball or your hands get inside the ball. So that should always happen on a good swing. But on a just late swing and a late swing and an early swing, I mean, you really shouldn't have your hands through the ball. You shouldn't really have much balance. I mean, your weight distribution shouldn't be there. There's a lot of other factors going into it, and he kept bringing up, you know, will he get his hands inside the ball? That's fine and all, but it's a video game. The only thing we control is the PCI and the timing. And if we're getting good timing and we're getting good PCI placement, everything should go right. Our hands should get through the ball, proper weight distribution, balance, whatever. And the ball should be hit harder than lates and just lates and earlies, just earlies, whatever you want to call it. If you're early, you're going to be out in front a little bit. You're not going to have the best weight distribution. You're not going to hit the ball as hard. You're going to be out in front of the ball, obviously. And if you're late, you're going to be behind the ball. Most times than not, it's going to be almost impossible to get the barrel of the bat on the ball. I don't know. Didn't agree with everything. I just think if they made good timing more rewarded more often, I really wouldn't have a complaint with this game right now, because I can live with the just late hits right now. They don't happen as much since they just pretty much nerfed power. I really could live with the game if they just rewarded us more, and that's all I'm asking. So, I mean, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully they can find a way to fix it. Otherwise, you know, I don't know. It's very frustrating trying to play ranked seasons. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. Let me know how you guys like the gameplay, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.